I've heard so many things growing up, like from my own parents, to my relatives, to my schoolmates, to my teachers. I think everybody would just, and उनको लगता है कि they're doing it out of concern, that you're just about to die. तुम इतनी पतली हो गई हो कि तुम्हारा कुछ हो जाएगा. Like my teenage years were so harrowing that I didn't take a picture. I used to hate myself so much that I have those 5-7 years where I don't have a picture of myself because I hated looking at myself. Didn't want to capture any of it. People also around you say, तेरे पास यही क्या? Boys want curves, all of those. And like, I'm sure curvy women को कुछ और बोलते हैं. So all of those things were happening. I remember I went into this like obsession of just trying to gain weight. I would look at TV and be like, I want to do something there. I would look at the child actors and be like, I wish I was also in Shakalaka Boom Boom and Koi Mil Gaya and Sompari and all these shows, right? But because I was so also aware of what people think about me and what they have made me feel is ugly, I never worked on it.
With this show only, I told you, so many people were not willing to do it because when you're trying to do something different, 10 people will stand up and say, "Arey, ye chalega nahi, arey, ye kaam nahi karega, arey,
especially with women. Especially with women standing in the center and taking up space, वो तो कोई झेल ही नहीं पाता है. Even with my teeth, I would smile like this. Because I would take fashion pictures, I would not smile. So I would hide my smile for years. Like I think I was still like 20, 21, I was not smiling khul ke. And internet gave me that power to be like, hey, I also have those teeth. I love your smile, yaar.
कुछ तो लोग कहेंगे लोगों का काम है कहना, but my guest today is just too busy creating the most relevant and relatable content to even pay attention. Not only is she someone who has smashed each and every age-old beauty standard that has existed, not only in our industry but in the content creating world, but she's also someone who has always had a very positive influence on others. Welcoming Dolly Singh on BodyFaming for Bollywood Bubble. Hi Dolly, I'm so happy to, have you on this show finally.
I'm so happy to be doing this. I remember Nayan told us that you will be starting this show, and I was just genuinely excited because what a name, first of all, BodyFaming, and what an introduction. That's so sweet.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
But because I'll just straight away start with one incident and one thing that I've always noticed. So, growing up, I was always a chubby kid, but I had a cousin, and I'm sure she's watching it because, so she was extremely thin. And I remember people used to target her way more. ऐसे चलते चलते aunties and anyone used to just tell her that अरे कितनी पतली है, कुछ खाया कर and all of that. And I used to feel, okay, why is this happening? थोड़ा उल्टा. People are hesitating a bit to tell me anything because they think I'll feel bad. But उसके लिए they are not thinking that. So I have always, then I noticed and I realized, okay, there's this thing called thin shaming or shaming people who are underweight also or who don't fit the normal size or whatever that is. I don't know. When you find out, tell me because I don't know what that size is. But how was it for you?
I think, it definitely is a little bit like that कि वैसे तो I don't think ऐसा कुछ है कि जो लोग overweight होते हैं उनको बोलने में किसी को शर्म आती है. I think some people really don't care. उनको बस बोलना है and उनका तो कुछ नहीं किया जा सकता. But definitely, I've heard so many things growing up, like from my own parents, to my relatives, to my schoolmates, to my teachers. I think everybody would just, and unko lagta hai कि they're doing it out of concern, that you're just about to die. तुम इतनी पतली हो गई हो कि तुम्हारा कुछ हो जाएगा. तुम unhealthy हो गई. And I'm sure it's on the other side also it's the same thing कि हम तो बस concern की वजह से कह रहे हैं, we just want the best for you, हम तो चाहते हैं कि तुम्हारा अच्छा हो. So all of those things just really, I remember I was so young and sometimes I think about it, a young girl or a young kid should not be thinking these things, but you have so much weight and baggage of just thinking that you're ugly. Like a 6-7-year-old thinks she's ugly. That's just a sad thing, for the society as a whole. And I remember, so many things I still remember. I'm sure so many of these words have stuck with you and you remember those visuals, you remember those faces who said them to you. Like I remember my father only once, and he didn't really mean it like that, but I remember there was a family who had come home, a family friend, and they had a daughter my age who was now, to the society standard, okay weight. decent.
Yeah,
खाती
acceptable
पीती है,
weight. Yeah.
अच्छा खासा, not ज़्यादा खाती पीती है, not कम खाती पीती, right? So when she left, my father is like, कितनी प्यारी बच्ची है ना, कितनी सुंदर बच्ची है इनकी. And now, which is fine, I'm not saying don't compliment the other person, but this is the same person who has never complimented his own child. Now, this could be around anything. Obviously, उनकी भी conditioning है, उनको नहीं पता क्या गलत है, क्या सही है, but this is what we need to learn. But वही है कि मैं तो after a point, like I was so, like my teenage years were so harrowing that I didn't take a picture. I used to hate myself so much that I have those 5-7 years where I don't have a picture of myself because I hated looking at myself. Didn't want to capture any of it. So I agree 100%. Like I don't know किसका कितना ज़्यादा है because I don't think especially Indian society में तो कोई भी नहीं बचा है. No matter what you look like, even if you look your prettiest best, you'll have insecurities because people have made you have them.
Completely agreed. And imagine, you know, as you said, that 7-year-old or 6-year-old who doesn't even know the meaning of what's beautiful, what's not. You know, that's the age you're learning these things.
Yeah.
Ki, okay, flowers are pretty, rainbows are pretty, some things are not pretty. But imagine associating yourself with those words. I'm sure it would have been heartbreaking. And I have been through the exact same thing where people have just come and commented on me, my body, my weight, like it's no one's business. Like it's like कि बस हमारा तो हक है. People have actually did that. And you know, as you said कि concern दिखा के बोलते हैं, there is a way because my family shows concern and tells कि you have to be healthy. You shouldn't have any problems. So, you know, exercise or do whatever, be healthy. That is showing concern and actually telling. But these so-called people who actually pretend like they are concerned but are not,
वो दिख जाता है.
वो दिख जाता है.
आपको समझ में आ जाएगा कि कौन जेन्युइन कंसर्न के साथ बोल रहा है और कौन सिर्फ दिखावे के लिए आपको ताना मारने के लिए बोल रहा है. You realize as a person you feel those vibes, energy, you gauge it, you know.
You know, but I know this about you. I read it somewhere that ever since you were a kid, you were fascinated by acting and you were manifesting that for yourself. How was that? And you know, this kid who was maybe insecure because she was fed such things surrounding her, how did she come out of that bubble? And then, you know, you are sitting here today. I'm so proud of you, your journey. How was that transition phase like?
I think it was definitely hard because, you know, because I had these insecurities and no confidence in my body, in my looks or anything, that's why I didn't work on any of it. Like I always wanted to be on TV. I would look at TV and be like, yeah, I want to do something there. I would look at the child actors and be like, I wish I was also in Shakalaka Boom Boom and Koi Mil Gaya and Sonpari and all these shows, right? But because I was so also aware of what people think about me and what they have made me feel is ugly, I never worked on it. I never tried to do any play or to go for theatre or perform in any sense because I felt like people would be like, what are you doing here? Have you seen your face? You know, so I always just held myself back. I would do other things. I would do debates. I would do athletics. But the exact thing that I always wanted to do, I never did because I was just feeling like koi kuch bol dega, it'll hurt me and I don't want to go through that. I don't want to cry more. I'm already crying, you know. So I never worked around it. And then when you grow up, you also, you know, become realistic about the world. You're like, okay, you know, I'll get a decent job. I'll study hard. I'll do this, that and make a living for myself. After a point, I'll get married off. All of those things. So I had pretty much come to terms with this that, you know, at some age, I'll be married. And in my family, they used to get married very early. So I was like, you know, I wouldn't even dream after that. You know, Tapsi said this very beautiful thing once that a lot of women in our society don't dream for themselves after a certain age because they think after this age, they'll get married and after that, they'll become their husband's property and the husband will tell them or dictate their life, where to live, what to do, what not to do. And I had also kind of, you know, was thinking like that. And it's very subconscious. You don't consciously think of that. But I was like, हाँ 25-26 तक मेरी शादी हो जाएगी and then ठीक है. तब तक मैं थोड़ा कुछ कर लेती हूँ. So all of that happened. I did my studies. I came to Delhi, did more, you know, I did political science honors and then I did masters in fashion management just so I could get a decent job. I think all of this acting and performing kind of left, I mean, I still was very enamored by Bollywood and big screen and all of that, but I really hid it. And I think by this age, you become too realistic and you're like, yeah, kabhi nahi hone wala. It's never going to happen. So when content creation happened to me, which is also by kind of accident, you know, we started making those videos. I was on a full-time job. I was a writer and a stylist. I was never a video person. So when we were put in front of those videos and people enjoyed them and then we started making our own content, I think life just took, sometimes I feel like universe, वो शाहरुख का dialogue है ना, जब तुम किसी चीज़ को चाहो, शिद्दत से चाहो, तो पूरा कायनात तुम्हें उससे मिलाती है. So I think that has pretty much, I would say, has happened for me, because I think I genuinely wanted it so much growing up. And life just took this, sudden turn and presented me with these opportunities. And of course, I had to work for those opportunities, and I have to make sure I make the best use of them. But yeah, that's how it has happened. And now that I'm finally living it, I feel so genuinely in the last few months that the film has come, and I've been feeling so happy, and the reviews are great. So I literally just keep imagining that little girl and thinking, you did it. We managed. Somehow we managed.
I swear. And so many times this happens that people ask me, what would you change, or what would you go back and tell the little self of you? And I'm like, I will just tell her, keep doing what you're doing, because if you didn't do all of these things, you wouldn't be here today.
That's true.
So I relate to you so much, and not only you as a person, but your content. Oh my God, this every piece of content that you have ever made, right from South Delhi Girls to every other piece of thing that you create individually or with your fellow friends. I have been a fan and how. But when you go on the internet, it is a very mean place. At the same time, I know it has given most of us everything that we have had. Now we work on internet. Like I don't know what would happen to us if Instagram or YouTube, it wasn't there. Like I feel that for myself also. But there are some comments that, that are just so triggering, not only to the person they are making it to, but as a viewer who's reading it also. I sometimes feel this is too much. I can't. This goes in my mind that, okay, they should stop and think what they're typing. I know they are nameless and faceless people doing that, but does that ever get onto you now? Because I'm sure you have had a journey with those comments.
No, of course. I think so. I will be honest, initially when I started content, internet was actually the place that gave me the confidence, because मैं fashion videos बनाती थी, and I would do those things, and people would tell me you're so nice and I'm like you, and they gave me the confidence. Even with my teeth, I would smile like this. And I would because I would take fashion pictures, I would not smile. So I would hide my smile for years. Like I think I was still like 2021, I was not smiling khul ke. And internet gave me that power to be like, yeah, I also have those teeth. I love your smile, yeah. And then I realized that, it doesn't matter. It's okay. It's okay if my teeth are like this, and I can still smile and let it be. And they gave me that confidence. But I agree, and especially in the last few years, that trolling, that side of internet has really come forward. And I think anonymity really has made people lose a little bit of their mind and think that they can say anything and move on, right? And of course, a lot of those things hurt. I remember when we did I did the Colgate ad, which is a huge deal. Right? It's such a huge opportunity for me. So many hoardings are being put up. It's all around in the newspapers, on television. And my first thought when it was about to release was, I don't know how much trolling will happen. I was scared. Initially it was a great opportunity. I was excited. I did it. But when it was about to release, and I also went for the dubbing too, for the ad. And I saw that ad for the first time on a big television in that dubbing room. I was like, oh God, this is too much. Also because even I had never seen teeth like this being presented on a television, on an ad. Right? So for me also it was a culture shock, which is fine. Shock is fine. But I was just like, oh my God, people are going to hate this. Oh shit, people are going to just pull me down and tell me this is not it, that this is ugly, that this is... All of those things again, I was spiraling so bad when it was about to release. And thankfully that there were more people enjoying it than, hating on it. There were people hating on it, and I was worried about those things. But I was just, later I was thinking when I got out of that period and therapy helped, that it was so sad that such a huge opportunity for me, and I'm sad. And I'm thinking of the worst, because internet has just become that place.
I know. I remember when that ad released, I shared it with a friend who thinks the same about her teeth. I don't know why, for some reason. And I was like, just look at it. And I don't know what happened, what changed after that day. She started showing her teeth in pictures. And I was like, did Dolly do this to you? And she was not accepting. She was like, nahi, main to ek hafte se I've started. I was like, don't lie. I sent it to you. And then she was like, yeah, I mean, I now feel I'll embrace it. I was like, that's all, embracing your imperfections is the best thing you can do. But it also comes... as sometimes I feel this for myself, that people get very intimidated. They're like, how and why is she so confident, or why is she like this, and why kya hai, kaun hai, aisa, this vibe I get. Do you ever get that vibe from others around you?
That people are intimidated by you?
Yeah.
Sometimes unko, I think, and especially again the same kind of people who are the ones who will say the mean things.
Yeah.
Because they're like, itna to kuch khas hai nahi, why, how are you so confident, you still have a lot of flaws, because they only see the flaws. That's the problem, right? But I feel like I've stopped caring about them, because you said it rightly. After that ad, I got so many messages. I literally remember this one message especially because it's about a mother, and this kid said that my mother has never smiled all her life. She's in her 50s and she would always hide her smile like this while laughing. And because of your ad, she started smiling. So for me, that was just like, okay, this is enough reward for me to celebrate this. And I feel like representation matters so much. Now, we don't realize sometimes just looking at someone who looks like you just a little bit is enough for you to feel confident. So to be able to see girls who look like me, who look like you on screen, it just helps so much. And I'm sure the younger girls are now, thankfully, we have that kind of representation going on. When we were growing up, we didn't have any representation. Nobody looked like you and I. People just looked like one figure, and everybody looked pretty and airbrushed, and everything, and the hair was perfect, everything was perfect, right? And then that added so much to our insecurities. So I'm happy that all of this has now at least started. So these people who are intimidated by our confidence can be intimidated.
I know. I'm like,
owe them.
It's fine. I am doing good in life. I am happy. It doesn't matter. As long as, when you go back to sleep at night, you are satisfied, you are happy with the kind of day you have had or the kind of week you have had. I think nothing else matters.
That's true.
Sometimes I also feel people let you realize about some things that you didn't even know existed, that you didn't even know was a flaw, and then you become a little conscious. Like I remember I was shooting for a production house, and it was their camera setup team, and the camera dada told me, he was a 40 something normal Maharashtrian guy who maybe had some other conditioning, so he didn't know better. So I don't even blame him, but he said, when आप last time हमने shoot किया था, तो जब आप हंसते हो या आप जब बात करते हो ना, wide smile मत दो, because there's gap between your teeth. And I'm like, क्या? I'm like, ये तो मुझे पता भी नहीं था. I mean, I didn't even notice that.
And then you would have started to be like,
I was like, then I went home and I watched that interview. I was like, oh yeah, ये दिख रहा है कहीं कहीं जहाँ मेरे zoomed in shots है. But I was like, if I didn't care up until now, I didn't even notice it. You made me realize it.
Exactly.
And I did feel for 2-3 interviews, I did feel like I will smile like this, and then it was looking very fake, and I'm not fake at all in front of the camera. I was like, no, it's not working for me. So let it be. So that's what I feel, that sometimes you don't even, you are okay with something and people come and they spoil it for you. But
that's true.
I think through everything, one thing that's been a constant is my girlfriends always hyping for me, always being there for me. Even if I have a bad day or a tiny moment of self-doubt, they'll be like, we got you, girl. And you and Komal define like best friend goals. I'm sure you have other girlfriends also, but because both of you are in the content creating space and we see you two a lot of times together, how is the relation with you and your girlfriends?
It's very good, yeah. I think, I grew up to be this person who always thought that girls na achhi friends nahi ho sakti. They can never be good friends. They're always jealous of each other. They always fight, because that's what the society tells you. And you also see your mothers don't have any friends. They got married. Like I saw that my mother got married from one village and came to Nainital and all of that. And she didn't have any friends. So you really start thinking that, oh, I'm sure girls are actually not good friends. In the movies, you see that representation of girls, being jealous of each other and Sotan and this and that. So I grew up with that mindset. And I always felt that boys will be better. I should make friends with boys, but I was not allowed to talk to boys. So I had no friends, basically. And of course, as kids, you fight and you do this, but your mindset starts low. But, I feel like with girl friendships, once you really find your tribe, oh my God, it really becomes your, they hold your backs like anything. Like they support you through thick and thin, and they become your biggest cheerleaders. Right now, I have like 2-3 girlfriends in life, and of course, I'm that person. I think after an age, you only have like those couple of friends.
Of course.
And so those 2-3 friends that I have now are just, I feel like I can share anything with them. And Bhumi said this one thing in an interview so nicely, that she said that my girlfriends have set the standard so high that no man can actually match it. It's so difficult to get a man who can match it now, because they love you so much. And I feel like with girls, you know, women in general, just I feel have so much internally, they've grown through so many things that only we will relate to. If I start talking to a man about it, usko samajh hi nahi aayega.
Yeah.
So I feel like girlfriends in general just are such a blessing, you know. If you find those people, even if it's just one girlfriend, it's enough, because then you can share, you can talk. And my relationship with my girlfriends have been really good. Like Komal and I have been together for like 8-9 years now. And we started when we were just like in college, and we would like, you know, save like 10 rupees and go to Janpat and do shopping. We've grown from that to now and making content. I think it's been lovely. And it's also because we've been able to share our, you know, just life's phases with each other, the breakups and the patch-ups and the new boyfriends and the career change and all of those things. So it's been really nice. I'm glad I have her in my life.
We can see that. We can so see that. Do you two just sit someday and if you guys have shot for something together and it's gone live, read the comments and laugh it out? Because I you know, Nayan and I do Reel Buddies together. So there was this one comment on YouTube that on our video, thank you for coming wala Reel Buddies, because I remember it so clearly. I sent him a screenshot that वो सब तो ठीक है, but Motu and Patlu की जोड़ी बहुत अच्छी है. I cracked up and I was like, I thought, don't even find it mean, it's funny, it's actually funny. Yeah, it's cute. मतलब कुछ बुरा नहीं लिखा है, which is true also.
I think वही ना वो vibes पता चल गए कि उसने वो mean से नहीं लिखा है.
And उसने अच्छा ही बोला ना, cute बोला है, so it's okay. But do you, as you know, BFFs do that ever?
Of course, all the time. And sometimes we are surprised as to people sometimes remember our details more than we do. You know, you did this one video once where you two were cracking this joke, and we're like, oh shit, yeah, we don't remember. So people really genuinely, and this friendship especially, like, people really celebrate our friendship. They make those edits also for us, you know, with Komal and I doing our stuff and our music and all that. And sometimes it feels so nice to see that, oh God, like you see your lives, you know, friendship really get evolved, and we have those like baby faces, and now we've grown up women, and it's very cute. It's very cute to see those things and reaction.
You know, Dolly, when people around you are always talking about some change, that अगर ये change हो जाए आप में तो अच्छा होगा, better होगा, and all of that. I have been through those phases where I have gone through crash diets and done all the shitty things possible to my body, thinking ki okay, you know, quickly I'll just lose a few kilos and people will maybe stop commenting. Or even if it wasn't about them directly, in my subconscious head, maybe they left that thing, you know. Did you ever go through that process that you were like, okay, you know, I want to change something about myself physically?
Oh yeah. I think when I was in college, especially when I came to Delhi, you know, I think also when you come to a big city and you see people around you, and everybody is kind of obsessed with like looking good, and they want to feel nice, they want to wear a certain brand, this, that. And also you want to look good. You're in a college, you're surrounded by so many people, you know, you want to be your best self. And anyway, I was insecure, so I became even further insecure. Ki shit, like how am I going to face these people, you know? And I look too skinny, no boy is going to look at me. And you know, people also around you say, "Tere mein sahi kya?" You know, boys want curves, all of those. And like, I'm sure curvy women ko kuch aur bolte honge. So all of those things were happening. I remember I went into this like obsession of just trying to gain weight. I would eat like 3-4 bananas a day. Also had like a financial crunch, so it's not like I could go to a nutritionist and get a good diet. We stupidly start our own diets.
I know.
Okay, I would eat like aloo baal ke aloo kha rahi hu zabardasti. I would drink Coke with every meal just because Coke has so much sugar. I would be like, हाँ तो ठीक है ना, मैं तो मोटी हो सकती हूँ ना. Not realizing that it's also unhealthy
for your body
inside, right? I would do that for like 6-7 months. I would finish one bottle of soda and just like drink it with everything. So all of that, I did nothing. First of all, it didn't change a thing. So I gave up on it and I started becoming even sadder because I was like, nothing is working out. And I just feel like one thing I realized later is that it's so important to accept your bodies and to love it, because if you try to change anything about yourself with that obsession of hate, you know, that you hate your body and you're like, मुझे कुछ बदलना है बस इसके बारे में, वो कभी नहीं बदलने वाला. और वो अच्छा बदलाव, even if it changes, it will never be good. You'll either bounce back or you'll never be able to stick around, right? Or it'll never happen. But the moment you love your body for who you are, appreciate it because it has served you all these years.
Correct.
It really has given you everything. You are able to do things. And if you let that just sit there and accept it and then try to work on it. Of course, fitness is a journey. You can always, you know, try to work on different things कि मुझे strong होना है. I want to be able to lift these many weights or have that stamina to be able to do a 12-hour shoot, you know, not feel tired. All of that is also important. So if you want to work on that, that's fine. But this hate needs to you need to let go of that. You can't let people dictate what you should look like, you know. And also I feel like people have this perception of fitness and healthy. कि ये शेप ही हेल्दी है या वो है. वैसे तो उनके लिए कभी भी कोई हेल्दी नहीं होता, बट दे हैव दिस परसेप्शन कि तू ज़्यादा पतली है तेरे को तो यू नीड टू गेन सम मसल. आई एम श्योर विद यू इट मस्ट बी लाइक यू नीड टू लूज सम kgs. Otherwise, I'm sure you must be fit. Like it's not like, you know, people who are on these sides or whatever, they're not fit. Fitness ka level is different than your weight ka level. Your fitness really depends on you, and I will know my personal fitness, what level it is at. You will never know. तुम बाहर से देख के कैसे बता सकते हो?
Sometimes people think you if you're fat you eat a lot, you eat double. I'm like,
and you're lazy,
and you're lazy, you can't, you're tired. I'm like, come and shoot a day in my life. You will see what all we have to actually do.
You should do a day in your life.
A day in my life, yeah. Dolly, but today when I see someone who's sitting in front of me, I see a very confident, secure woman who, you know, who knows what she wants, and then she goes and gets it. And I saw that in Thank You for Coming also. You worked with 4 other beautiful women who are completely different. You all have different personalities. You all come from different backgrounds. Even if 3 of you have been in the content creating space, Shehnaaz and Bhumi have been actors. But now when you come together and you do a movie like that, you need a very strong sense of security. Because, you know, trust me when I say actresses, so many actresses I know personally are not comfortable sharing screen space with other actresses. They feel that we will not shine so much.
Yeah.
How do you feel about this notion?
I think with us content creators, especially like Kusha, Shivani and I have already worked pehle se, and you know, we always, and Kusha used to say this thing that, you know, we can all coexist. Nobody needs to compete. In fact, आजकल तो collaboration ज़्यादा हो गया. You know, people collaborate and work together and help each other grow. And I think that's such a good way to do this. And I think with Bhumi, when we started working, we never saw this streak of, oh, मैं heroine हूँ, मैं lead actor हूँ, तुम सब मेरे पीछे खड़े हो जाओ. Yeah, I will not let you, you know, do your thing because I'm more important in this space. So I think we always had this energy from her, which we really appreciated, because when you are playing a smaller character, you feel like you'll be sidelined, nobody will care about you. But really, she gave us, you know, everything. She would even help us be like, nahi, ye tune achhe se nahi kiya, do it again. Or you were really good, you know. And with Shehnaaz, I feel like she's such a free-spirited person. She really doesn't care. Also, she loves herself, so I don't think anything makes her insecure in general, right? So I felt like we genuinely found the tribe of women who also were secure about themselves, plus didn't feel the need to overpower anyone. You know, we were always aware. We also gave each other the space that yes, Bhumi is the lead. So she should, you know, answer these questions. Like when we used to do interviews also, Bhumi, why don't you answer this? Bhumi, why don't you stand in the center? Right? Like stuff like that. So I think we all were very aware of those things, and we all just gave each other that space. So wo raha nahi. Of course, even I've heard stories of actresses being like, you know, not being able to work with each other, or ya kuch hai wo hai. But I also feel like in general, women just get this bad rep of, you know, you just don't know how many of these stories are made up. How many of these stories are just, you know, rotating around, and, you know, anything a woman says becomes a tantrum. She becomes a bitch in 1 second, and it's happened with me. So I get it. Like I can't say, like, until I meet that other person, I will not be able to tell whether it's true or not. So I don't know about them, but for sure, like with 5 of us, we really had a lot of fun. And especially during promotions, because it was like a 40-day promotion spree. And we were genuinely, like the last 2-3 days, we were really emotional, because we were like, oh my God, tomorrow we won't be meeting. You know, the last day we've cried, like Bhumi was literally bawling with tears in her eyes, because we were just like, oh God, like we're not going to see each other from tomorrow. So it was really like an end of a chapter, but we are still friends. We still are talking on the group, sharing memes. But with the girls, I feel like, yeah, genuinely, I think they just picked the right people, and I'm so happy about that. I'm glad, because I don't know how it would have been if we actually had people who were just like, मैं इसके साथ काम नहीं करूँगी, या मैं ये नहीं बोलूँगी, वो नहीं करूँगी, you know. We were genuinely, like, you saw the energy. We would hype each other, like someone would enter and be like, yeah, बहुत अच्छी लग रही है, you know, like
hyping up always, and that translated on screen. You know, I know this is body faming, but I'll just take a quick minute and tell you that we were talking about it before the camera roll, but I want to tell this on, on record and go and say that I loved Thank You for coming. And you have no idea how many times I have said this to people that we need more movies like these, and we need strong, powerful women coming forward and playing such parts. We need them, and you all have done it. And how, I mean, it has been a conversation starter. As I told you, I have gotten into arguments defending the movie and what it talks about, because people sometimes उनकी सोच कहीं तक लिमिट हो जाती है, तो वो सोचते हैं अरे ये तो सिर्फ इस चीज के बारे में बात करी है, orgasm है ये. I was like, dude, you didn't understand then. Maybe your intellect power was maybe a little less than required to watch this film. I've actually had conversations, but really, I did feel that. And I when something like this happens now, I become very supportive, because I know what it takes. With this show only, I told you, so many people were not willing to do it, because when you're trying to do something different, 10 people will stand up and say, "Arey, ye chalega nahi, arey, ye kaam nahi karega, arey,
especially with women. Especially with women standing in the center and taking up space, वो तो कोई झेल ही नहीं पाता है. I also genuinely felt that way. I was like, I don't know how this movie will do, but I just hope that people come watch it in any case, because, and especially women, I was pursuing more women to go watch it, because I was like, इसको भूल जाओ. If you just want more such movies to be seen later, please show support, because that's also important. We forget that it's a business. At the end of the day, producers are putting money, someone is making it. If some movies like this now, Dhak Dhak has come, I'm so excited to watch it. Such beautiful cast, and Taapsee has produced. So, it feels good that such stories are being made. And I just hope that this streak doesn't end, because if the movies don't get love, people will feel like, oh my God, these ideas don't work. Women, hero hi chalta hai. So if I just hope that ye na ho. I just hope people go watch it, just to also show support, so that more such things can be made and we'll be better. Abhi tumhe lag raha hai maybe, oh, I didn't like this movie, theek hai, that's fine. You didn't like that movie, theek hai. But maybe the next one will be better, na? You give the girls something, the girls need to write, the girls need to act. And you need to be able to see those girls represent you. So just that, I just push the girls to just be like, girls, come on, show some support, come on. Like, we need this, we need to come equal with the boys,
Correct.
Not every story should have a hero.
I know,
and we are the heroes.
Yeah, we are the heroes. We share the same energy, I feel you. But, Dolly, I'm sure your life experiences make you who you are today. I truly believe it. But when you go back to that 6-year-old or 7-year-old Dolly, and you have to just tell her one thing, not like an advice, but like, girl to girl talk, a cis code kind of a thing, what would you tell her?
I would say, tu dekh le sapne. You're daydreaming, you can dream. Even otherwise, you can work for it, because it's going to happen. It's fine. Don't cut yourself short. I feel like my instant thought would be like, ye sapna. I'm like, nahi, ye kabhi nahi hoga. I was such a pessimist, and growing up fully. So I think I would just tell her कि देख ले सपने, it's okay. सिर्फ सपने, also सपने देखने में कोई मतलब खराबी नहीं है, I feel like as kids also we realize too many things too quickly. So I would just tell her कि it's okay, keep dreaming, it'll all come true.
And the power of manifestations, like I truly believe, and also. When you're dreaming, I think someone out there is listening or what is happening, but when it becomes true, sometimes I'm like, how did this become true? But this is what I was thinking, this is what I was dreaming. Now has that changed? Ki ab aap, now you are like, if you are dreaming something big, like say like a big full-fledged romantic movie in Bollywood, which I would love to see you in. If that comes to your mind, now you are like,
मुंह में घी शक्कर or whatever you like.
Yeah.
And तुम्हारे जी पे सरस्वती आके बैठी I hope. But I think I've definitely stopped holding myself back. यार सपना तो देख सकती हूँ ना, नहीं होगा क्या हो गया, अभी काम भी तो कर ही रहे ना, it's fine, it'll go there. But at least like I don't wanna think कि ये तो कभी भी नहीं होगा. Because पहले तो ये भी नहीं सोचा था ना कि ये भी होगा, आज यहाँ बैठी हूँ, I'm doing this with you, I would have never thought. So now I don't want to think like that. Now I'm like, okay, if I feel like, the other day in some other interview they asked us who would you want to do a rom-com with and all of that. So all the girls were answering these Hollywood actors. So I said Bollywood. I was like, I'm manifesting it right away. Like maybe this one. So yeah, definitely now believing in having those dreams and not limiting myself.
I don't know why you look great with Vicky. I have this feeling, like, I don't know, he has that typical Punjabi full-on energetic vibe. And yeah,
it's too good.
He's too good, I know. But yeah, we are manifesting and we're dreaming big.
Yes.
But before I let you go, Dolly, you know, there are so many young people. When I started watching you, I think 4-5 years back, what was I was 20. So I was also a little girl, not little, but yeah, like, you know, who's just starting off in the same, little only, who was just starting off, and I was like, oh my god, you know, I was very fascinated by the world. I was like, wow. And then I've always been a supporter. If a woman is doing something, no, even if it's not that great, I have this feeling ki okay, we have to support, because we have felt that a lot, like we have not had that support. So even if you are okay doing bare minimum, I'll be like, you go girl. But when you guys started and you guys started doing so well, it inspired so many people, and it's still inspiring. As I told you about the ad you did, that changed so many mindsets. People actually made a positive impact it has had on people. And as I started off by saying, this influence, it's a very, you know, happy influence, positive influence filled with self-love. So if you have to give that one advice to everyone who's watching this, who maybe feels sometimes that, you know, he or she has that body image issues or self-doubt in them, what would that be?
I think I would just tell them कि कोई खराबी नहीं है. Of course you can work on yourself, and कुछ चीज़ें होती हैं that you want to, you know, get better at. Like I definitely want to have better knees. Like I dislocated my knee recently, like 2 years back, but it's still like in the process. I feel like I can be stronger, so work out कर रहे हैं. But I just want to tell them that पहली बात तो don't let society tell you what you should look like, what you should not look like. Cut that noise. Focus on who you are and just say nice things to yourself. I think growing up, I really always would look in the mirror and say the meanest thing to myself. Really. And that was so sad. Because, you know, I was crying also, but अपने आप को ही आप गाली भी दे रहे हो, and, you know, saying the harshest thing, which society में नहीं बोला है, आप बोल रहे हो खुद को. So I feel like the first thing that needs to happen is change the dialogue you're having with yourself. Change the way you're addressing yourself. I still do it sometimes, and then I'm like instantly call myself out ki nahi. Don't be badtameez to yourself. You love yourself, and yeah, it can look like narcissism or whatever. होता है लोगों को जो लोग insecure होते हैं, उन्हें लगता है कि नहीं, it might be too much. I can't like be too self-love. नहीं. Start with small steps. Look in the mirror. Say 3 nice things about yourself. What do you like? You know, what is your best feature? And only what you like, not the society telling you. So I think that's very important. Just change your mindset and everything will slowly start changing, because once you start loving yourself, other people seeing things is like, अच्छा तूने ऐसा बोला है, मैं बताती हूँ. I'll show you.
I know. Someone once told me, you know, tell 5 good things about yourself. I was like, bas 5. बहुत easy hai. I have so many, and everyone started laughing. And
I love that.
You know, I realized it's not that common.
It's not, because I would have been
like,
5, like that. You know, I would go a little clueless, and I thought you would say the same thing. I'm so proud of you. You said that.
No, I'm like, jitni bulwani hai, bulwa lo, I can't. And if they're like, acha, 3 not so good things, I was like, I don't know, ask other people. In my eyes, I don't think, and it doesn't.
Yeah, I think also these questions should stop.
Yeah,
what
exactly. What are these questions
you don't like about yourself? No, I like everything about myself.
Exactly, and you know, it's I read a quote somewhere that name 3 people you love, and then niche it was written that if you didn't name yourself as the first one, you know, you need to work on loving yourself. And that was so deep, and I was like, oh yeah, I think almost everyone forgets to name their own self. So but with this episode, we are going to love ourselves even more, and that will not be narcissistic at all, because it will be like a good way of, you know, self-love, which we always promote. But on that note, thank you so much, Dolly, for doing this. You have no idea how many gates this episode and this show altogether is going to, I hope, open.
Yeah, because, it will. Yeah. And I hope you are proud of yourself for doing this.
I am.
Because I am proud of you. And I love so also, just genuinely love the name.
Oh, thank you so much. But thank you for being here to bigger and better things, upwards and onwards only, and for manifesting each and every dream that we dream. And one day everything will, I'm sure, come true. But thank you.
Thank you. Oh my god, I'm very excited to watch this. And watch all the other episodes.
Episodes, I'll send you the links.
Hi, I'm Dolly Singh, and you're watching me on Bollywood Bubble.